back now and I realize if I could have survived that time, then really, there are only a few challenges that will come to me or come my way that I wouldn't be able to survive. And with that kind of confidence, I think everybody, when you figure out what it is about you that is special, with that confidence, you can surmount almost every issue that comes your way.
Many thanks for joining us on News on the Hour on Plus TV Africa. Here are the stories making the headlines, and I am Amaka Okoye. The Court of Appeal in Abuja has affirmed the August 23, 2019 judgment of the Election Tribunal, which voided the election of Dino Melaye of the People's Democratic Party as Senator for Kogi West Senatorial District. The court, in a judgment read earlier today, ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission to conduct fresh elections in some parts of the senatorial district within 90 days. The appeal court noted that there were discrepancies in the dates contained on the result sheets produced by INEC for the election held on February 23, 2019 in the senatorial district. The Justice A.O. Chijioke-led Kogi State and National Assembly and State Assembly Election Tribunal had, in its August 23, 2019 judgment, voided Melaye's election, upheld the petition by Smart Adeyemi of the All Progressive Congress, and ordered fresh election in some parts of the Kogi West Senatorial District. The Nigerian presidency has reacted to rumors of an alleged marriage between President Muhammadu Buhari and the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Sadiya Umar Farouk, set to take place on Friday. Special advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, in a statement, revealed that the report was a deceptive maneuver by those who fabricated the news. Adesina also said that the news was far from the truth and that no such marriage is taking place at the presidential villa on Friday. Now, the First Lady, Aisha Buhari, has called for urgent action to protect the girl child from abuses. Buhari, in a tweet on Friday to commemorate the International Day of the Girl Child in Abuja, stressed the need for parents to protect their children from all forms of violence and abuse. The theme of the 2019 celebration is Girl Force, Unscripted and Unstoppable. The day's celebration supports more opportunity for girls and increases awareness of gender inequality faced by girls worldwide based upon their gender. The celebration of the day also reflects the successful emergence of girls and young women as distinct cohort in development policy, programming, campaigning, and research. Now, religious misinterpretations, poverty, teenage pregnancy, and early marriage, amongst others, are factors hindering the girl child in Nigeria, despite accounting for 94.2 million out of the 200 million population of Nigeria. The female gender is sometimes relegated, treated as second-class citizens in the country. A female child is typically perceived to be a weaker being, designated to just reproduce, cook and do other household chores compared to her male counterpart. In a bid to address this situation, the United Nations marks October 11th as the International Day of the Girl Child, which intends to promote girls' human rights, highlight gender inequalities and other challenges militating against the female gender. Now, joining us in the studio is Blessme Ajani. She is an adolescent sexual and reproductive health expert. What an interesting name. Blessme, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And it's good to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Such a unique name you've got.
Yeah, that's what happens when someone is a girl.
Right.
Because them being a girl is unique in itself.
Good. So we'll start from that point. You know, when we talk about the International Day of the Girl Child, most times the temptation is to, begin from the point of, oh, they're relegated to the background, they are not treated fairly and all of that. But let's start from the positive. Tell me, what are the blessings of even being a girl child?
Growing up, my daddy used to say that being a girl child is more money for him. Having girls, out of 4 children, we're about 3 girls. And having 3 girls is more blessings for him, is more money for him, in terms of the marriage bride price and all of that.
But he isn't intending that he's selling off his daughters.
Of course, though he says that jokingly, it just shows how much he appreciates his girl children. And then my daddy said something while I was growing up that I will never forget. He said, it's just that people don't understand the benefit of having girls as children. Why? Because they get to promote the family name even early and easier. And what did he mean by that? that. Meaning that as a girl child, before you know it, you are out there before the male counterpart, and then you are promoting the family name, and that's it. It's compared to the boy child, you know, when a girl child is successful, she brings out the family name and all of that. So there are a lot of blessings attached to being a girl child. We could see a lot of females, women in every sector doing amazing work. You know, till date we still talk about the legacy of Dora Aquili, and then you know that we say when females are empowered, they do things differently. Why? Because they have to work twice as much to prove their worth. So, and of course, you know, there is this adage that also say when you train a girl child, you just train the nation. And if you look all over around us, you see females doing amazing things. You see females on the farm. Even when you go to the villages, you see females, you know, you're a news presenter, you're a female, and of course you're doing an amazing job like that. And because of the way females are wired, we tend to address issues from the emotional aspect of it. And now we see females more logical, and then they bring up innovative solutions, even in the tech world. And then there are a lot of advantages to being a girl child, you know, that we cannot overestimate or over talk about.
Okay, so that in fact brings me to my second question, which is, what's the potential, you know, available for the girl child, especially in Nigeria?
So thank God that the whole world is not saying that it is important we train the girl child and allow the girl child to prosper. Let me use that word. And then, you know, there are a lot of programs that are running, even in the tech world. You know, you can see programs like Girls Can Code. You know, you can see programs like, oh, let's empower girls. Girls can have access to reproductive health services without anybody's permission. You know, like 25 years ago when they launched the first International Day of the Girl Child, you know, we can see that a lot of programs are around girl child being empowered so that they can make independent decisions, and just that, so that we can bridge the gap of inequality between the older gender and the girl and the female gender.
All right, so we have 94.2 million girls making up the population of Nigeria, which you know is about 200 million. Some people say it's 201 already. Well, that's a big number. Now, with this number making up the population of Nigeria, we still have huge challenges. For you, what would you say are the challenges that the girl child faces every day in our society?
So, well, it's saddening that we still talk about these challenges year in, year out. We could see that the rate of teenage pregnancy abortion is on the high increase. You know, recent statistics says that about 70% of teenage death is as a result of pregnancy-related issues. You know, we can still see female genital mutilation as Nigeria topping the whole world, has the highest prevalence of about 47% in the whole world still. And then we can still see that even cancer issues, you know, breast cancer, Nigeria is still one of the countries in Africa that still have all of these issues. And then other issues like child marriage, you know, the northern Nigeria is still recording a high rate of child marriage. And I think it's still these issues that, and then even in the place of work, we can see that females are, you know, the intimidation, let me say guys are getting intimidated by the rate at which females are entering male-dominated sectors. And then we can even see in schools, you know, recently the BBC video shows that females are at a very disadvantage even to get their certificates in school. You know, they have to go through harassment, sexual violence, and of course we hear it every day, the rates of sexual violence. Even though, yes, there has been a lot of improvement, at least the government is responding quickly compared to what we used to have. You know, they are tending to believe that these issues exist, and there are a lot of programs that are being run to ensure that we mitigate all of these issues and challenges. But of course, we've not gotten to where we want to be, but we are not where we used to be in terms of the girl child.
We're not where we used to be. Now, finally, I know that you're an expert, adolescent sexual reproduction expert. Tell us about that. What's that? Okay,
so I work for the Johns Hopkins Center for Communication Programs on the Nigerian Urban Reproductive Health Initiative as a youth program officer. And basically what we do is we currently have this life planning for adolescent and youth project that we're implementing in Lagos State. And I happen to be the one leading the project here in Lagos. And basically what we are doing is we are empowering girls to be able to make decisions about their reproductive health in terms of sexual family planning, using contraceptive, you know, is one thing for them to know, is another thing for them to use. And then that's where the issue of life skills comes in. You know, we've realized that if girls have that self-esteem, they can demand for these services that they need. And then we are also bridging the knowledge gap, because you need to know what you want before you even ask for it. So that's part of the things we are doing in Lagos State to support Lagos State to ensure that more young people have access to sexual and reproductive health services in terms of contraceptive use. And of course, these services are available at primary health care centers in Lagos, and also through the adolescent and youth-friendly health services facilities around Lagos, about 6 to 7 of them now are in Lagos. So yeah, that's what we are doing. We are ensuring that girls have that self-efficacy to access the reproductive health services they want to. You know, as a girl, you should be able to walk into a pharmacist and ask for condom. You know, it's easier for a boy to do that than for a girl to do that because of the cultural context and sensitivity of our society, which believes that it's okay for a guy to have sex, but you know, as a girl, you have to be pure, so to say. But really, it takes two persons to make a female pregnant, and all of that. So it's just about the time that females become very selfish with their reproductive health. Anyway, at the end of the day, it's your body. You are the one that is going to get pregnant and not get to go to school and all of that. But after all, it's all about that young girl reaching her life aspirations and fulfilling her dreams and achievements.
Thank you so very much. Blessed. It's time to take a quick break now. Stay tuned for more news when we return. And to other national matters. Now, Senate President Ahmad Lawan on Friday warned any minister or head of government agency who failed to defend their budget by the end of October will not be given another opportunity by the National Assembly to do so. Lawan said the National Assembly will not accept any attempt to prevent them from passing the 2020 budget before the end of the year. The Senate President said this at the official unveiling of the 2019-2023 legislative agenda of the House of Representatives. The Senate President, who is also the chairman of the National Assembly, emphasized the earlier stand of the lawmakers that only October window will be available for budget defense by all ministries and their agencies. The Senate took time to debate on the 2020 budget as presented by President Muhammadu Buhari on Tuesday, October the 8th. Lawmakers took turns to express their opinion and misgivings on the 10.3 billion budget estimates expected to impact the lives of Nigerians and return the nation's budget implementation window back to January-December timeline. Lawmakers tasked the executive on implementation, debt reduction, power and taxation, among several issues.
We must begin to think, how do we diversify the revenue base of our society? When you talk about 256 billion being allocated to works, I have it on good authority that what is even required to take care of outstanding in the Ministry of Works and Housing is in excess of 500 billion naira. And here we have allocated 256 billion. I will be said to be huge comparative to what has been allocated to other sectors.
I think the plan to increase VAT to 7.5% is clearly an instance of regressive taxation. If you look at item C, introducing tax incentives for investments in infrastructure and capital markets, this situation, for me, of increasing VAT is a shortcut to economic recovery. It smacks of intellectual laziness, and like all shortcuts, I don't think it will drive this country in the right and proper direction.
I have some misgivings about the fundings of the budget of 2020. With a debt portfolio of 20 trillion, debt service of 2.4 trillion, higher than our capital budget of 1.18 billion. It means that we are not going to find funds to implement our capital budget. I would like to reflect on the 2019 budget, where only a paltry sum of 294.6 billion has been released for capital projects as at September 2019. As at June in 2019, our budget was already in budget expenditure for 2019 was already in deficit of 1.35 trillion. This deficit is what is delaying implementation of the capital budget. So, given the same indices that we are using in 2019 to raise revenue in 2020, it is really worrisome if we can meet our revenue targets.
Economic argument and debate is a political decision. the political will to implement the budget, and of course, budget making has to demonstrate fairness, equity, and inclusivity. For example, Mr. President, my constituents are deeply concerned about the poor showing of Plateau State in the budget over the years, and even in this one. This has been repeated in this year's budget, and it's the desire and call of my constituents that the Senate will address this imbalance and to make provision for the Akwanga-Jos Bauchi Road, and equally to facilitate the completion of the Jos Yakubu Gowon Airport, Hepang.
I'm coming from the southeast of this country. I know we have so many abandoned projects in our area. One is the second Niger Bridge. It's very, very important to us because we are businessmen. We are also moving up and down. The other issue is the 9-mile Makurdi Expressway. Is very, very important to us because that's the gateway to the north, and that we take to get to Abuja and beyond. The other issue is the Akanu Ibiam International Airport. We have for over 43 days now. That airport has been closed. Mr. President, we are begging that in this year's budget, now that that place has closed, and that's the only major airport in the southeast that the federal government should allocate money, since we are not doing new projects, ensure that that airport is done for.
And still on the appropriation bill, the House of Representatives has passed for a second reading the 2020 appropriation bill. The bill, which was submitted by President Muhammadu Buhari with an estimate of about 10.3 trillion naira on October the 8th, was referred to the Committee on Appropriation for further legislative action. The House, after extensively debating on the budget, adjourned plenary to October the 29th to commence the defense of the budget by ministries, departments and agencies.
On the budget as presented by the Mr. President on Tuesday, in particular, the allocation to health, 46 billion, in a country where our population is over 180 million. I believe 46 billion is not going to do anything in terms of health for our people. With 46 billion, that means that we don't take our health and life seriously.
For me, it appears more like budget of standstill. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, this is apparent from the fact that the recurrent expenditure of this budget is 4.8 trillion. The capital expenditure for this budget has been reduced from 2019 budget by 721 billion, by 23%. Mr. Speaker, the debt servicing, the amount of 2.48 trillion has been provided. What does this mean, Mr. Speaker? It presupposes that what is available to Nigerians is, for capital, is about 1/5 of the budget. There is no country that can make progress with this kind of expenditure.
From page 1 to Z, to the last page of the budget, I have read the statement of Mr. President. The allocation to departments and agencies of government are quite appreciable. But, Mr. Speaker, one issue that is important for us to mention for the purpose of adjusting some of these errors in the next feature or next presentation is regarding to the way and manner our budget seems to be unbalanced. Mr. Speaker, if we have 2.18 trillion budget deficit that is projected in the 2020 budget to finance both domestic and foreign debts, and at the same time, we have 2.45 trillion estimated for debt service.
And in other African stories, the 2019 Nobel Peace Prize has been awarded to Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, who made peace last year with bitter foe Eritrea. He was awarded the prize for his efforts to achieve peace and international cooperation. Abiy's peace deal with Eritrea ended a 20-year military stalemate following their 1998 to 2000 border war. He was named as the winner of the 100th Nobel Peace Prize in Oslo, where he will receive the award in December. The award is worth some 9 million Swedish crowns. Following the announcement, Abiy said he was humbled and thrilled. Thank you very much. It is a prize given to Africa, given to Ethiopia, and I can imagine how the rest of Africa's leaders will take it positively to work on the peace-building process on our continent. End of quote. Now, a cargo plane carrying presidential staff crashed in eastern Congo on Thursday, and all 8 passengers and crew are feared dead, a presidential advisor told media on Friday. The plane carrying President Felix Tshisekedi's driver, a logistics manager, and some soldiers was headed from Goma to the capital, Kinshasa, and went off radar on Thursday afternoon, an hour after departing, a statement from the Civil Aviation Authority said. Debris of the plane has been found, but the passengers are still missing, said advisor Vidiye Shimanga. He had told media earlier on Friday that 8 bodies had been found, but said that information was incorrect. The cause of the accident was not yet clear. Local media showed a crowd of hundreds of Tshisekedi's supporters hitting the streets of Kinshasa after the news broke on Friday morning, fearing that the plane crash had been some kind of failed coup attempt against Tshisekedi. And that's it on our African Scenes. Up next is our foreign news.
This medal has been directed to empower 1,000 persons with disabilities in each state in the next 12 months.
When I start hearing the shoot of gun,
Whatever I've done.
Every public policy has winners and losers, and some will not be very happy with you, while others, usually the silent majority, will be quite happy.
On the foreign scenes now, 5 people were stabbed at a shopping center in the northern English city of Manchester on Friday, and police said counter-terrorism detectives were leading the investigation. The stabbings took place at the Andel shopping center in the heart of the city. The mall was evacuated as armed police rushed to the scene. We can confirm that 5 people have been stabbed and taken to hospital, Greater Manchester Police said in a statement. In these early stages, we are keeping an open mind about the motivation of this terrible incident and the circumstances as we know them. The center had been evacuated, according to David Allison, director of the mall. And that's it on the foreign scenes. Up next is our business news. Now in business, the Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, has said 85% of value-added tax in the 2020 budget will go back to the states and local governments area. The tax would be channeled to take care of salaries and infrastructure investment. According to him, the remaining 50% will go to the federal government for the development of infrastructure. The minister, who disclosed this in a statement issued by the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing in Abuja, describing the 2020 appropriation bill as pro-people and pro-state. According to him, the bill would drive development of the states and enhance the well-being of citizens, as he charged the general public to look more at the content of the bill instead of the numbers. The minister, however, emphasized that people should look at the clear statement of intent of the bill, stressing that it would grow the economy, raise money, and not hurt people through unfavorable tax regimes. And that's it on business. Still ahead on Plus TV Africa News is a roundup on entertainment and sports news. We will be back in a moment. And in entertainment, Jared Black, the man driving Kevin Hart's blue Plymouth, has been blamed for the accident that occurred on September the 1st. According to reports, Jared Black must have accelerated rather recklessly down the road, causing the car to swerve into the embankment and slam into a tree. Although the report states that Black was not under any influence, the accident left the actor and Jared seriously injured. According to investigators, none of the passengers in the car were wearing any seat belts, which might have also added to the seriousness of the situation. Kevin Hart has, however, said that he had nothing but love to Jared and wishes him a speedy recovery. The actor, who sustained back injuries as a result of the accident, is also reportedly doing fine, as he is expected to start working again by next year. And that's it on entertainment, and the very best in sports coming up right after this break. In sports, former Super Eagles coach Samson Siasia has said he is yet to receive any financial support from Nigerians to enable him lodge an appeal against a FIFA-imposed live ban at the Court of Arbitration for Sports. The ex-Nigeria international, through his lawyers on Thursday, secured an extension to a CAS deadline of October the 10th to make payment of about 36 million naira for his appeal to be heard. World Football Governing Body FIFA in August handed Siasia a live ban from all football-related activities for accepting to receive bribes in relation to the manipulation of matches while he was coach of Nigeria. In addition, he was also fined about 18 million naira.
It doesn't even matter if it's true or not, because nobody has done anything to help anyone anyway, so you understand? So if they didn't ask for this extension, and then the live ban would have stood without any support from anyone. And that's not.
And that's our news roundup of events at this hour. For more news updates, please follow us at Plus TV Africa on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa. We will be back later with more stories making the headlines. Please do join us again. I am Amaka Okoye, and do have yourselves a great day.
Welcome to Tea Time on Plus TV Africa, where we bring you the biggest entertainment stories and, of course, analyze them for you.
You can have both parents and still end up as a useless child. I see them every day.
Most times I worry more about where I'm coming from and where I am now, and that determines my next step.
Why are you sounding like
Alibaba
now?
Plus TV Africa, we're feeling good. No time to dull, everybody feeling alright.
Make music and people are still buying. Sometimes I look myself minimal IU.
Akpala music is for mature-minded people. I got DMs sometimes from Malawi, like.
Sleeping early.
Politics has helped shape the decision of the polity, from conspiracy theories to good old-fashioned comic politics.
These are the results of tomorrow's election. Okay, you have it already, have you?
I think we've done very well in the very difficult circumstances in which we took over governance.
Plus, politics will fill the polls of the country, from friends to frenemies, even strange bedfellows, to clones and stooges. We go beyond the rhetorics and the drama to analyze the story behind the story.
Let anybody come and say.
The perception in itself does more harm than actual corruption that you have.
Plus Politics, not just another political show. It's about putting you, the citizens, in the know.
If I say today's edition is going to be cool, calm, and collected, I may be lying.
This one somehow doesn't inspire them because Showore may have his own agenda, Showore may this. I just feel, look, at the end of the day, we all know what we're suffering here.
Our youth will prefer to dance shaku shaku than to come out and vote on election day.
It may be hot, sizzling, and provocative.
Until we bear our body, that is, we wake up from our act of irresponsibility, nothing changes.
That's true, but there was also times that they were saying the icebergs were melting, but then the icebergs then they formed again.
United Nations will give free drugs to this hospital, and these doctors and nurses will take these drugs out for sale.
It's deeply personal, tragic, and frightening.
The wickedness of the elders and the idleness of the youth, yes.
Hear the stories making the headlines.
The Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria.
I'm here at Eunice Bashorin Street.
Where the fire destroyed our transformer complete as well.
The lowest level you can.
Plus TV Africa, the big stories live here.
Big stories live here.
Big stories live here.
That money will shoot every person that we know can shoot. We don't let people die there.
You could have killed us for a long period of time.
At that time, why I carry gonorrhea? I first go hospital first, but it no go. Now I come make that mama.
He just pulled it, he pointed, and shot.
They suffer too much. They suffer too much.
Issues around the Nigerian police, we have to tackle it holistically.
It gets better, ordered another round. It gets better, ordered another round. It gets
I'm sure, as you can imagine, I get many. On a daily basis, I haven't shared this with anyone, but I reckon I get about like 100 people asking for help. A day. That's a fact. I can prove that. You know, so rather than, you know, going through all my messages, my letters, my emails, my DMs, I decided that, you know, I think it's important as a young person to make sure that I'm making a difference. And it would be almost, you know, I could have started a record label and been used those resources to sign artists, but education for me is so powerful. I would not be here, fact, whether or not, you know, anyone can argue that I would not be here if not for my education.
Nowhere, baby, we no tire. And baby, for the line we
Politics has helped shape the decision of the polity, from conspiracy theories to good old-fashioned comic politics.
These are the results of tomorrow's election. Okay, you have it already, have you?
I think we've done very well in the very difficult circumstances in which we took over governance.
Plus, politics will fill the polls of the country, from friends to frenemies, even strange bedfellows, to clones and stooges. We go beyond the rhetorics and the drama to analyze the story behind the story.
Let anybody come and say.
The perception in itself does more harm than actual corruption that you have.
Plus, politics, not just another political show. It's about putting you, the citizens, in the know.
I actually moved back to Nigeria to open a bakery. This was my goal, and everything I did up till this point was in preparation for this. First of all, life was great because I moved in 2015 right before the recession, right? It was awesome. I was like, wow, there's so much money out here, man. The cost of overheads, power generation, water, you have to be your own local government. And there are no tax breaks. Many places where, you know, where they realize the small business environment is difficult would offer some kind of tax breaks and incentives. We don't do that out here. We want you to come back. We want you to, you know, to start businesses here, but we're not going to do anything to help you. All my experiences in the past have led me ultimately to where I am now.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Events, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Osuke.
Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Events is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely, right? No question. He's a living legend.
Oh, God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, I know.
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity.
No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry.
This is Plus TV Africa, where we bring you the biggest entertainment stories. Welcome to Tea Time, and like I always say, we usually make time out to get you the most interesting personalities in the world of entertainment. My name is Elsie Godwin, and I'm never here alone. I'm here with Ewa Ritu and Ife Oshunkeye. And of course, I've got, how do I introduce her now? She's a veteran, yes, I can say that. She spent over 20 years in the industry, and I also have a chef in the house, Chef Bene, and we're basically using this opportunity to talk about Superstar and also their lifestyle. Thank you all for being here.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Where do we start from? So I think before we get into Superstar, like that's is it superstar or superstar?
Superstar. Celebrity superstar.
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 Okay, so there was something I saw online recently. I think we talked about it on Tea Time, where you talked about someone coming to your house to threaten you. Do you want to clarify that?
That was a joke. That was just something my friend and I were messing around with, you know. I did put up a video the next day explaining, because I kind of got a lot of reactions from that. Like, it
was everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised. People take these things really seriously.
Yes,
because we love you.
You know, she actually, there was a video where we went to see a film. So my girl at home was videoing, and then Uche, Jumbo, and the rest of my friends that I was with, she was like, I mean, I put out the video, and I was just threatening her that, look, I'm going to release the video, because she was threatening that, oh, if she sees the video online, she's going to get all of us arrested. It was just a joke. So I said, okay, so you come to my house to threaten me, right? And honestly, people need to be very careful what they put out on social media, because, I mean, that taught me a lot. Yeah, that taught me a lot. Like, you can't just mess around
anymore.
Yeah, because it was alarming, the reaction I got. I'm like, okay, it was a joke. But
because
you're somebody that hasn't been faced with a lot of negativity on social media, not a lot, or maybe you don't react, but I would like to know, how do you react to negativity when it comes your way, like trolls and people just want to say rubbish on your page? How do you react?
First of all, I mean, I don't think anyone should expect your reactions to always be positive. I have so many positive reactions to look at the negative ones. You know, I mean, if I have over 1,500 comments on that picture that I put out, and 85% is positive, why would I want to pay attention to the other? You know,
so that's how you keep your sanity.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it makes more sense to me. I don't like to bother my head about what people really think, or, I mean, it's okay, everyone is entitled to their opinion, but you know, I can't influence how you feel about me, and I feel like you have a right to what you feel. Is coming on my page to express how you feel. It's not something that is very tolerable, but it's just something that is also inevitable. You really can't. Definitely. You know, so there's no need going through the hassles of fighting someone or. Everybody
can love you. You're not a bottle of wine.
Even a bottle of wine is not loved by everybody. There's still people who don't like that. You know, so.
Okay, so before we get into Superstar and also talk with the chef who cooks, right? Let's watch this video promo. We'll be right back.
12 mega celebrities: Shegun Arinze, King Tonto DK, Mona Lisa Tinda, Nii Dibia, Angela Okorie, Alex Ekubo, Ibina Bonfebrisima, Regina Askia, and many other celebrities and chefs will compete against each other in the first ever celebrity cooking competition, Soup or Stars. Join us at the biggest street party and trade fair with the best of DJs, comedians, and vendors. Come, taste the glory of Africa in her rich array of traditional food varieties and island culture. Be our guest as your finest celebrities present you brunch on Soup Stars. Friday, 6th of December at Grand Atrium on Lekki Epe Expressway, 12 noon prompt. Tickets available at cocobar.com. For inquiries, call Green at 0805-752-1573 or email souporstarsmail@gmail.com. Superstars, SOUPASTARS, mail@gmail.com.
Welcome back. Chef.
I'm so looking forward to that.
And I'm coming to you. What is this about?
Basically, what this is about, like I said, is Superstar is a celebrity superstar. So we have different teams. I'm representing Team Rivers. So basically,
what team is she representing?
Yes, take a
Team
wild. Of course, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Well, that day we're going to see how it's going to play out, which team is going to win.
Okay, so
you guys are getting competitive already.
Of course, because I want to win the grand prize.
So you're telling us about it all, though. Yeah.
So basically, like I said, there's a celebrity cooking competition where you have upcoming chefs under them, and where we also talk about, we try to encourage healthy eating and all that. So that's what it's about, basically.
I'm looking at your nails with all this glam. How are you going to cope on that day?
Look,
are we going to take it up?
Don't let this deceive you at all. This has nothing to do with anything.
So you're telling us you're a good cook? Do you like to cook?
I'd
okay,
like
do
for
you like to cook?
You just have to wait and see. That's what this is all about, right?
Okay, so what's your favorite dish?
My favorite, I'm very local when it comes to food, so my favorite dish is actually ekpankukwo.
Okay. Speaking of your favorite dish, so what is the recipe for ekpankukwo? And tell us how you make it step by step.
That's that. I don't know if you have so much time on this show for that, because that's one of the most complicated meals to make.
Okay, so what's the recipe?
So the recipe, you have cocoa yam, you have water yam, then you have the leaf, then crayfish, of course, a lot of crayfish, a lot of dry fish, periwinkle, palm oil, and the rest of the condiment. But the basics that you need is a water yam and the cocoa yam and the leaf that you use to wrap it.
Okay, so
the way she's looking.
I mean, the way she said crayfish.
Like, no, the way she looked at you like, oh, I'll cook that. Wayne with your favorite meal.
I mean, we all have peculiar meals that are, that we are known for as a people. So, I mean, Rivers State also is very rich. They've got diverse options.
Bole.
There's a whole. No, I think those are things. Those are not even the. River State is known for good meals as well, just like Akwa Ibom State. So I think the competition is just going to be. I mean, let's not give it all out.
Let's save it for the day.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So speaking of diets, because you just mentioned, and with all the things you call, they're very very healthy food, and so what would you say? Do you eat late night? How do you eat? What is your eating regimen?
But basically, how do you stay so fit?
Yeah, exactly. Because
stay so fit is a constant struggle. I mean, if you've known me from back in the day, I've always been one who battles with weight a lot. That's just my nature. So it takes extra work. So it's not even eating late is. I try not to eat late. It's a bit difficult sometimes. If you have a long day. And then you get home, and then you think, oh, I'm not so hungry, I can sleep with. And then you're trying to sleep, and that hunger just comes, and then you can't sleep because you try to sleep, you'll be seeing food, and you'll be dreaming of eating with dragons and stuff like that. So you just find yourself getting up. But then you can have something really light.
Yeah.
That's why I like my vegetables. I can have a salad, or I can have, since I like really the native food, I leak a lot of soup. I just make fresh vegetable soup without oil.
Oh, okay.
So that way I still have the taste of the local, thing in mind.
Okay, so is this your first cooking competition?
Actually, yes, it is.
Is this your first?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
No, actually, no, I've done it before, but just with friends, not Lagos.
All right, so let's come to you, the chef. What's your favorite dish?
To be honest, I don't. I'm very picky with food, but just give me good food.
What do you like to cook?
What do I like to cook? Like
the most?
The most. Okay, probably my fisherman soup, the Rivers fisherman soup.
Recipe?
Fresh fish.
I'm looking forward to this day.
I'm telling you.
Periwinkle, ngolo.
She's counting. She's counting as well. She's thinking
our own fisherman soup, and trust me,
it's way better.
So for us, you have everything in the sea inside. Yeah. So
everything in the sea.
Yeah.
So if I want you to make that for me, if I want you to make that for me, how much would it cost?
Well, we're going to talk about that.
Because I said you guys make a lot of money these days.
Don't worry, we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, like chefs make a lot of money.
Everything that you do with your hands these days brings you so much money.
So how lucrative would you say being a chef has been for you?
I didn't get that.
How lucrative would you say being a chef has been for you?
Well, for now, because I do a full-time job, so what I do is I basically focus on friends and referrals. So I just do more of, I have friends that don't like to cook, so over the weekend, okay, I want this, and I make for them. So yeah,
be a friend.
Of course you pay.
I really like to cook. So it's something I do. It's like that's one thing I don't get tired of doing.
Okay, so did you go to school to learn how to cook?
No, I think it has to do with upbringing.
Absolutely.
Yes, it has to do with upbringing because I'm so picky. Like I don't eat anything.
I like the way you said absolutely when we spoke about upbringing. So tell us about your upbringing. Were you the type that your mom would be like, Ini, go to the kitchen, go and make this? Were you the one cooking for everybody?
Okay, so I grew up in a home with 3 girls, 3 siblings, female siblings, and my mom, of course. And cooking is, I kind of like even grew up with my grandmom at some point because would always go home for holidays and all that. And my grandmom is someone who was so into organic food, like straight from the farm, into the pods as you're talking and it's already ready. Like you're just gisting with her, she's already back from the farm, she's already cooking and you're talking. You wouldn't even, you'll be like, oh no, I don't want to eat, so I'm in a hurry. She'll be like, it's okay. And she's gisting with you before you know what is the food is ready. So it's like fresh from the farm. So it becomes, it's something that we all grew up like, you know, under that atmosphere of the fact that, look, you have to know how to cook because you have to be able to entertain people when you have guests. And, you know, we weren't those kind of people that grew up with so many maids that would do literally everything for you. We had, you know, helps at some point, but then you'll have to cook your meals. So everybody that went through my home, like the kind of upbringing that I had, and I think it's very peculiar to our people. We do that a lot. It's very hard for you to find someone who comes from where I come from and then where she comes from as well, and then they'll tell you they don't know how to cook. It's a bit
shocking.
Not shocking, is
just
unusual.
All right, so also we need to focus on Soup a Star. This is being put together by Regina Askia, and she's also a medical doctor. And the sole purpose of doing this, according to what I read, is for healthy living, to avoid diseases like diabetes, obesity, and all of that. So how do you think this is going to affect the society? Let's forget about the celebrities coming together to do this now.
Or even the prize.
Yeah, or the grand prize, because the little bird told us that you guys, whoever wins is going to get a grand prize. And I can only imagine to have you on it, it has to be something, maybe like a private jet, I guess. So, how do you think this is going to affect the society, and do you think we should do more stuff like this so that people, because if you look out these days, you see roadside food everywhere, and you just see people buying anything and everything. So let's talk about that.
Well, I think that's the essence of this whole show. Like you said, Regina is in the medical sector, so she's very big on health and proper eating, which is one of the things that attracted me to accept the invitation to be on board. So yeah, it would impact people a lot because Nigerians are slowly becoming people who would like to eat a lot of preservative foods and, you know, junk food and just ready-to-go meals, which are usually loaded with a lot of toxins and a lot of chemicals, and those are the things that, you know, that causes most of the health issues that are very rampant in Nigeria today. So what I intend to do, like in my group, is to use as much organic and less preservatives as possible, and just show people how to make food that is fresh and healthy and very tasteful. You know, a lot of people, I mean, we're going to have like light bites that you can prepare on the go. That doesn't, it's not going to take so much of your time, because of people who have time constraints. They have to just maybe rush out of the house without eating and then grab whatever they find on the road. So we can have like those mini bites meals that you can learn that it wouldn't take you time to prepare. Say 2-3 minutes, you've tossed, you know, everything is ready, and you can, yet it's healthy.
Okay, that question goes for you too. So.
Okay, I'm very, just like she said, when it comes to food, I'm a bit very, very picky. So I don't eat, there are things I don't eat. I don't eat frozen foods. Yeah, so
live.
Chicken, fish.
So your chicken has to be live?
It has to be live. My fish.
Point and kill.
Yes, my fish.
You too.
So not point and kill.
I never cook frozen chicken in my house.
Not point and kill. I don't eat. I don't know about point and kill. I eat fish from either freshwater or saltwater fish.
Point and kill has its own chemicals because it's kind of preserved, right?
Yes, it is. So I don't eat it. But I actually saw it in Lagos.
Wow.
Yes, in Port Harcourt, the type we have is from saltwater. So it's not this point and kill. Because the fish from freshwater and saltwater, you can't preserve it the way you do here. So I'm Team Fit Farm, and I work out a lot, so I watch what I eat. I don't do junk. I'm that kind of person. So yes, this is really good because it's going to tell people more about the different foods we have in Nigeria, because I think that a lot of problem people have is they don't know that we have variety of foods. So people just focus on rice,
they recycle the same thing.
The same thing. So, and they're not willing to experiment and all. So that is what this is about, just to create more awareness, let people know that, yeah, there are a whole lot of, we have so many options to choose from.
Okay, our time is going, but I really need to go back to what you do, Nollywood. We are not seeing so much of you in the cinema. Is that deliberate?
Okay, so I took time away for a bit. I got an appointment in my States, so I was working a lot in my States, and I had some other personal things I was sorting out. So I took about 3 years I don't know, people didn't really notice. I don't know if, yeah, so I'm just getting back in and just trying to. So I have a couple of projects that we're working on. Hopefully, by God's grace, we should have something out by early next year.
Okay.
So yeah, I did take time.
All right, so give us
today is International Girl Child Day, and I'd like you to say something to every girl child watching you right now.
Okay. To every girl child watching me, what I would say is, look, you have so much greatness in you. Don't ever let the world tell you that you cannot be what you're destined to be. We are a great species of people. Like we have so much strength and so much to offer the world. I mean, we birthed the world as it is. So we are all powerful in our own different rights, and just keep your head up and don't let anybody manipulate you into where you don't, or keep you where you don't want to be for any sentimental reasons. Just be the best that you can. Take every day as a challenge and keep going. There's nothing that is impossible that you cannot achieve if you put your mind to it.
All right, so we can't have you on this table and not have you give us an exclusive. So tell us something you haven't said anywhere else. Just anything. Just give us an exclusive.
That I haven't said
anywhere else.
I hope it wouldn't be a lie, because I mean, I don't know.
No, you don't have to lie. Just tell us something. It could be anything. Just give us an exclusive. Exclusive to Plus TV Africa.
Exclusive to Plus TV Africa. Ah, there's one slogan I just came to my head. I can't see that. But it says something big is coming.
Something big is coming.
Guys, yeah, I mean, Iniedo has just, I'm on a different stage. I just got into a different stage of my life, so it's a lot to look out for. And I'm not backing down anytime soon. So there's a lot about me that you guys are going to experience.
And we can't wait to experience.
I mean, I can't.
But you know, there's a lot to experience, but that's like very, very ambiguous.
Ambiguous.
Give us something we can hold on to and be like, Iniedo.
Just know that I have said. There's a
big.
lot. Just keep an open mind.
Iniedo is in a new
it's
phase.
a lot of others. I mean, it's a whole lot of things going on.
Okay, quickly before we wrap up, I think our time is gone. But you mentioned, when you're talking about your friends, you mentioned Richie Jumbo, and there was some very funny conversations going around at one point in time about the kind of love in the industry. And you've been there for a very long time. So do you think your colleagues in the industry show true love to themselves of fake love?
These are not things you can generalize. I've been blessed with very good friends, very good colleagues who we don't see each other every day, but we have mutual love and respect for each other. And every time we come together is magic. So we don't get to talk every time, but whatever we feel for each other is real. When we're in a place, you can feel like it's just nothing but positive energy. That not necessarily people who come on social media and show you so much affection. I don't believe in that. I mean, I don't feel like social media is where you want to show me that you care about me. You know what I mean? When the chips are down, that's when I want to see how much you care. So there's a whole lot of facade going on social media, like we all know. But my circle is very tight. I'm not someone who is very open to a lot of friends. I'm very protective of my space. So the few people that I have in my corner, we have so much respect for each other. And I really don't look into what other people are doing, but this is just this is from my own perspective. You know, some other people show their loves differently, but it just doesn't work that way for me.
All right, thank you so much. I don't have more
what
questions.
Should we expect from you?
She said it already.
Finally. Just watch out for
All
the
right,
fisherman.
that's how we wrap up this episode of Tea Time. Thank you so much for watching. And like I always say, you can join the conversation by using the hashtag Tea Time or Twitter @ Plus TV Africa. My thank you as always go to my co-anchors Ifeolu Washunke, Ewa Ritu, the entire production team, and of course our guest Iniedo and Chef Bene. Thank you for being here. My name is Elsie Godwin saying thank you for watching and see you later.
I truly salute as I take join us on top of this very hour for this Kajadli Day on top of news on the hour. This not to read and where they make headlines now I want son to give on now. My name na Destiny Momo. The Senate shift debate on top the 2020 appropriation bill till Tuesday, October 15th. Senate leader Abdullahi Yahaya, where they represent Kebbi State, don't yarn say make them shift plenary until another legislative day. The minority leader Einaya Abaribe, where they represent Abia South, agree for put the matter inside in delivery. Senator Emmanuel Bwacha Yan say he don't tell Nigerians ask questions we concern budget implementate. Him say make them try do well for that side. Inside reaction with Senate President Ahmad Lawan, Yan say he thank the senators for their contribute as they can use the opportunity announce say debate on top 2020 appropriation bill go shele again during by Tuesday, October 15th. The 2020 appropriation bill where President Muhammadu Buhari give National Assembly on Tuesday don't pass a second reading for House of Representatives. Debate for 2020 budget starts on Wednesday and it will continue on Thursday. House Leader Al-Hassan Adodogua on Thursday he move one motion to continue the debate during by plenary for the Green Chamber. After deliberation for the members, the House can shift them reach October 29 for the continuation for the debate matter on top of the budget. The House don't promise to do sharp action to make sure say then go use speed do the passage for the 2020 budget, especially as it take a concern January to December financial cycle. The federal government don't hear and say any big gate we go still remove Nigerians from South Africa no go ever shell again. Nigeria inside last month removed more than 500 Nigerians from South Africa sake of xenophobic attack which shall affect us plus other Africans. But on Thursday, Nigerian Ministry for Foreign Affairs Yan say the badness wey cause the begin don't finish. But then still say Nigerians inside South Africa still they say they won't return, come back. Anyhow, about 600 Nigerians don't register for evacuate with the Nigerian High Commission inside South Africa. And then say it be like say their body, they tolerate them to return home sharp. The Ministry for Foreign Affairs spokesperson Ferdinand Wonye, he tell our correspondents inside Abuja on Thursday, say everything don't catch for South Africa, plus Nigeria don't sign about 32 agreements, plus 10-year visa policy with Pretoria to take advanced bilateral relations during by the time for state visit with President Muhammadu Buhari bin go do. Suspected members for the Boko Haram terrorist group don't attack Gubbio local government area for Borno State. The attack shele on Thursday as one joint committee for the National Assembly for Army visits the state. The insurgents then stormed the town inside one evening, then they come out their gun, begin to shoot without control. One situation where throw people where they stayed there into panic. Source for the theater command headquarters Yan say one enforcement team been sharply deployed inside the town by Operation Lafia Dole to fight the terrorists. According by them, the air component for Lafia Dole be no fit to provide air support sake of bad weather. The General Officer commanding GOC 7th Division, Brigadier General Abdul Khalifa Ibrahim Sef confirmed the badness. He come here and say troops pursue the attack as the military been there fully on ground, they engage them. The Nigerian Army don't arrest one top Boko Haram commander who specialized to the drive vehicle where they mount with anti-graft guns. Buka China, aka Abdullahi Bukamodu, been collect arrest with 9 other members for group for Polka inside Borno State for one clearance operation with the Army plus civilian joint task force on top of Wednesday. Inside one statement, the military yarn say gallant troops for the Nigerian Army where they work in together with members for the civilian joint task force for clearance operation for October 9, 2019, arrest 10 Boko Haram members inside Polka for Borno State. The federal government don't start efforts to take a reform Nigerian broadcast industry. The Minister for Informate plus Culture, Lai Mohammed, has been the inaugurate 7-man reform implementation committee for the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, inside Abuja. He say then they expect the committee to implement recommendations from one before for the appraisal for the NBC performance inside the last few years. Mohammed, he say the committee where NBC Director for Monitoring Professor James Idake Martaba, the head, go dey responsible to recommend adequate reforms wey go with modern challenge wey broadcast regulatory agency dey face. He also read out details for their terms for reference.
To implement the recommendations of the Committee on the NBC reforms as approved by His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, to immediately commence work on all statutory, legal and regulatory framework for further legislative action on the review of the NBC Act by the National Assembly, to immediately assess and propose equipment, materials and training needed to make the NBC a modern and well-positioned regulator, to liaise with relevant agencies to ensure the provision of the manpower needs of the Commission to enable it to function optimally, to work out the modalities for a competitive and reasonable salaries, wages, and other welfare needs of the staff of the Commission, to establish necessary protocols for the establishment or appointment of professionals or technocrats to run the agency, and appointment into the board of the NBC, to immediately establish and publicize a new sanctioning, fines and penalty regime that is in line with international best practices, promote professionalism, and serve as a deterrent to erring practitioners against misconduct, especially hate speech, violence, and spread of fake news, to establish and publish a new regulation for the licensing of web and internet broadcasters, international broadcasters in Nigeria, and finally, to end all forms of monopoly detrimental to the actualization of the immense potential of the broadcast industry.
In all the years of the NBC, it has not witnessed this kind and this level of government intervention, and I think it's a new dawn for the Commission. I want to assure you that you have, in your wisdom, also constituted what, to my mind, is a competent group of people. Looking at their faces and their track record, I believe that with their kind support, we'll be able to give to you a good recommendation, one that will meet your vision of a robust, articulate, well-positioned broadcast regulator.
Communication skill, aka talk better skill, na skill where I say they very casually to get during by nowadays for inside today world. Sake of say it they very important to sabi yarn willingly so that the Niger people for no loss for communicating matter, so that then can yarn their ideas plus plans for betterment things. One national competition where they help Nigerian secondary school students to they put speed for their speaking skills being shared inside Lagos, Nigeria. Our correspondent Adebanke Odunuyi gets the details.
Communication skills are one of the most important skills needed to succeed in today's world. It is essential because it is required in most jobs and endeavors. In view of this, competitions such as the National Youth Speaking and Leadership Competition, NYSLC, has begun training Nigerian students in the act of speaking. The aim of the program and the benefits to the society was highlighted.
The aim is for us to be able to empower young adults, empower students that are in secondary school with the power of speaking, to give them the ability to communicate and communicate effectively.
It's to be able to get young people to become confident in being able to express themselves, to be able to speak before an audience, and to be able to learn skills that will help them later on in life.
This is going to help personal development. So what does that mean? When we get a critical mass of youths like this develop themselves in the communication skills, what that means is you're grooming people who can go out there, stand on their own, they can communicate effectively, they can transfer knowledge, they can share their thoughts and ideas in a way that is intelligent.
According to the World Bank, the educational sector in Nigeria is not prepared for the challenges of the new era, and as a result have produced graduates who are not prepared for today's world. Insight on how the sector can be better developed was specified.
The educational sector in Nigeria needs to be aware of the fact that we're in the fourth industrial revolution, and there are some skills that are essential for any educational sector or any country to flourish in that in the dispensation we're in at the moment. The next best step really is how we can gradually and continuously expose the students to needed skills.
The contestants, students from various private secondary schools located in Lagos, Nigeria, explained their reasons for participating in the competition.
I just really love public speaking. Like, it gives me so much confidence, and to know that you're always giving information to people that might not even know about this topic or this thing that's actually happening in the world. So it just makes me happy to know that I can be that person to talk about this specific thing.
I feel the most mandatory thing to take away from this competition is the ability to express ideas.
I plan to use my skills to help make me a better person, make me a more confident individual, and I plan to use what I've learned today to aspire and to inspire people around me.
Adebanke Odunui, reporting for Plus TV Africa.
Inside plan to encourage more young people to to check their mental health na normal thing. The British Deputy Commissioner partner with Joy Inc. to do one Ogbonge evening talk about some mental wellness. Then premiere one film to take a marry the matter, enter mind willingly. Fumi Inuajefe gets more details on top of the matter.
In commemoration of World Mental Day, Joy Inc., in partnership with the British Deputy Commissioner, had a conversation on mental health and wellness. The evening started with the premiere screening of Fine, a short film produced by Kemi Lala Akindoju. The film erased the stereotype of only trauma victims experiencing depression. The lead character in the film is a successful, high-achieving young woman who is sad despite her family and career success.
I wanted to make a film, and then I was going to collaborate with Odenike, and she was going to write it. So I said I wanted to tell a story around depression, and I wanted a story. I didn't want a story that was like going to exaggerate. You know, many times you see stories of depression, and then maybe something bad has happened, bad things. You know, I wanted a story that was more normal, that spoke about the reality of what people were going through in their everyday lives. And she came up with the script. It was a long monologue. And we both decided on what to do, and voila, we made the film.
The evening continued with the panelists sharing their personal experiences about the importance of mental well-being in the workplace, especially as the average working adult spend at least 10 hours of their day at work. Organizations need to take responsibility for building safe workspaces, as emotional balanced humans will be more productive. The organisers spoke on the importance of the event.
I'm really happy that as the British government here in Nigeria, we can support organisations like Joy, who are doing what they can to increase awareness of mental health, to encourage people to take those small steps day to day that can help strengthen their mental health and avoid them suffering from conditions like depression and anxiety and so on. Mental health is something that affects everybody at some point in their lives. Sometime you're going to go through a period where your mental health is not in a good place, and that needs to be okay. It needs to be all right for us to talk about it, because until we talk about it, we are ignoring the problem and we're making it worse for people. Being able to talk about how you're really feeling is a really important way of managing your mental health. So I'm really glad that we're helping to create that safe space for that to happen.
Beyond having conversations around mental health, how do we ensure that we build safe spaces in our workplaces? You know, how do we ensure that the themes go beyond just we focus on depression or mental health when people are sick or ill, but rather than how can we just have more safe spaces for people to just be and be well? So that's why we're having this conversation.
The evening ended with everyone agreeing on the need to normalize mental health check, with the belief that the global epidemic of depression and suicide can be curbed. Fumi Unuajefe, reporting for Plus TV Africa.
Time don't reach to take a quick break. Stay with us for more Tori when we return.
name is Mr. Onyekachukwu John Ike. I won 1 million now from Diamond Extra. See, I feel excited. I know that it's true because when they call me, they say they are from my branch at Oshodi, and I have not seen for a long time, which is true. So, and they say that I should come over there. So it's not when they say that it's real, not fake. First of all, I'll use the 10% to go after the Almighty God who made it possible now. Then the rest, I'll use the rest to invest. I said thank you very, very much, Access Bank. As you say, so you do. So I've been Baba now. You are number 1 bank in Nigeria now.
Inside Africa news, Uganda plans to remove a law where go impose the death penalty for homosexuals. Say the legislature go stop the rise for inside unnatural sex inside East African nation. The bill where them they call Kill the Gays inside Uganda, then stop them 5 years ago for technicality matter. Plus the government say plans they to resurrect them within weeks. Ethics plus Integrity Minister Simon Lokodo tell the Thomson Reuters Foundation say homosexuality no dey natural to Ugandans, but say they don't turn plenty people to gay for schools, and as small pikins then full inside this badness for where then they promote wuru lie say them born people like that. Early this year, Brunei sparked international gbege for plans to impose the death penalty for gay sex, to backtrack only after strong criticism. Now, Uganda want to follow the same pattern where then they do. One leading Egyptian activist where they arrest sake of recent clampdown, sake of anti-government protests, don't chop beat, threaten, plus the naked and reaching underwear where him been there for custody. According by him family, Mona Seif writes on top of Twitter on Thursday, saying brother Allah Abdel Fattah tell in lawyers say them blindfold them, plus then come threaten them, say him no go ever set foot outside Torah, one of Cairo's most notorious prisons. Say he tell the Associated Press news agency say her brother don't file legal complaint for the abuse matter with the state security prosecutor during by one hearing on Wednesday to take a renew in pre-trial detention. But the family yarn say then they fear the retaliate with prison authorities won't catapult them. Up next, now our foreign news. U.S. President Donald Trump on Thursday used one campaign rally to blast the impeachment inquiry where they against him, saying a brazen attempt from Democrats to overthrow him. In vow say as then they try by fire by force to remove him from office, say he must to backfire. Supporters for the Republican president packed the 20,000 seats Target Center inside Minneapolis for the first of 3 campaign rally where they scheduled for the next week, with stops inside Louisiana during by Friday, plus Dallas inside 1 week. Trump yarn said the impeachment drama go push up in support sharply for the November 2020 election, plus it go help him win another 4-year term.
In the Republican Party, we believe that those who join our society must embrace values, honor our history, and love our people. Democrats also support deadly sanctuary cities, which release dangerous criminal aliens into the heart of your communities, and we're not letting it happen anymore. Republicans believe American cities should be sanctuaries for Americans, more criminal aliens. My administration is taking historic action to secure the border. We have reduced illegal border crossings by over 60% since May, and we are building the wall faster than anyone ever anticipated it could be built.
Top U.S. plus Chinese negotiators don't finish first day for trade yarns inside more than 2 months for Thursday as business group talk say then they very sure say the two sides go fit easy 15-month trade war plus delay 1 U.S. tariff hike with them plan for next week. U.S. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin and U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer meet with Vice Premier Liu He and other senior Chinese officials then for 7 hours for USTR headquarters near the White House. We've been get very good negotiate with China. U.S. President Donald Trump, now in the tell reporter, after the talk finish, he stressed in plan to take a meet with Liu for the White House on top of Friday, where him see as one better sign. One White House official yarn say talk don they go very well. It better as they expect them. So smile Liu come wave to reporters before in come out from USTR inside the black Cadillac. But he no answer any question from reporters. The two sides supposed to meet one final day on Friday. Migrants where they seek asylum to get help inside United States where they camp inside dangerous Mexican border town Tandafu one bridge where they lead to Brownsville, Texas during by Thursday. Now it make the U.S. authorities close the crossing according by witness them plus authorities. Hundreds of the migrants don't they sleep for weeks on top the end of the bridge inside Matamoros, Mexico, one city where they know for gang violence plus for cartel where they control human trafficking. Many of the people where they live inside tents or for the sidewalk inside one plaza near the bridge, they wait court date for hearing inside United States for some week or month later under one U.S. policy where them call the Migrant Protection Protocols, MPP. Up next, now our story for Inside the Business. The local currency Naira don't rise up past the dollar for the interbank segment for the foreign exchange market to 306.95 Naira on Thursday from 307 Naira past the dollar where they open this month. Dollar suffered the marginal loss past the local currency during by the end for September inside trade war between United States plus China. Data from the FMDQ OTC Securities show say the Naira for the investors plus exporters foreign exchange market window gain reach 0.01% against the dollar to close for 362 Naira 46 kobo from 362 Naira 25 kobo where it take a close during by Wednesday. According by the FMDQ OTC, a total turnover of $136.83 million been traded for I and EFX on Thursday. One look for the parallel market to show say the local currency go tanda without a change for 360 Naira to $1. The same with Euro, will stay for flat rate for 402 Naira. The total foreign trade for agricultural goods where then calculate inside the country total reached 323.4 billion Naira. This one inside April plus June 2019. 73.5 billion Naira or 22.7% for this figure being go for export, but 249 Naira, 95 billion Naira now be the import value. According by figures where they obtained from the National Bureau for Statistics, Iyan say during by the quarter, total trade inside agricultural goods stand on top 323.4 billion Naira. And now inside, we exports agricultural goods account for 73.5 billion Naira or 22.7%. The value for agricultural exports being get 14.66%, with small past Q1 2019 plus 14.8% to take a small past Q2 2018. For economic region, them been they export agricultural goods mainly to Asia plus Europe, where them value for 49.2 billion naira plus 18 billion naira too. The agricultural product we been get power pass na sesame seed, where them they export to Japan for 5.9 billion naira. Turkey 4.8 billion naira, and China 2.8 billion naira. Other major drivers for agriculture export na cashew nut inside shell, where then they mainly export to Vietnam for 12.7 billion naira, plus India 4.2 billion naira. Even good Nigerian cocoa beans, where don't ferment well, where then they export to Netherlands plus Germany, get value reach 3.3 billion naira, plus 2.7 billion naira separate. For import matter, agricultural products reach 249.95 billion naira, or 77.3% for total agricultural trade inside Q2 2019. Tori wey still dey come for front on Top Plus TV Africa News, na our Tori roundup for entertainment plus sports. We dey come back just now. For inside entertainment matter, Cuba Gooding Jr. don dey face allegate as in they prepare to go for trial after them say in grab woman breast for Manhattan bar inside June. The Oscar winner don dey indict for one New York court as he take accused person. They announce new charge. As the new charge show, Gooding trial wey supposed to begin Thursday don postpone, and a new arraignment go take place for October 15th. The charge where the star the face court no go announce them until the actor case reach Supreme Court. That's now our entertainment news. The one where they come now sports. Stoke City for England midfielder Ogenekaro Etebo make one sharp late minute withdraw from Super Eagles team yesterday ahead of the international friendly match against Brazil for Singapore, where they come for front. In withdrawal plus Ola Aina, we get domestic accident. Don't reduce the 23 players now to 21 sake of their withdrawal. Officials for the Nigerian Football Federation NFF say it no go cause any shaking for the team inside Sunday match with Brazil. The match na hot cake, not be only for Nigeria football fans, but for everywhere for Obodo the world. Sake of say it dey shele 23 years after the famous victory for Nigeria for Atlanta 96 Olympics Games. Coach Gernot Rohr don't agree say he no go replace the too late withdrawals. The Franco-German don't already replace defender Kenneth Omero with Tyrone Ebuehi, but Efosa Solomon Otabo joined the camp sake of say France-based Samuel Kaluno they available. No ogbonge reason they why Etebo step come out from the match. The remaining 21 players trained yesterday morning plus 2 training go still shell inside today. And so we'll take end them for our Tori roundup for Matadem we shell for this very o'clock. For more Tori updates, I beg follow us at Plus TV Africa for Facebook, Twitter, plus Instagram, and make you subscribe for our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa. We go show later with more Tories where they make cocoa headlines. Make you no fail to join us. My name na Destiny Momo. Make you get a correct Ogbonge day.
and welcome to this episode of Africa on the Move in partnership with DW. Today's episode will be focusing on entertainment. So we start with Islewood. What is Islewood, you ask? Well, it's about the film industry telling the positive side of Somali refugees living in Kenya. It was started in 2001 by Iman Burhan. Interesting? See for yourself.
Could Iman Burhan be the Somali-Kenyan version of Steven Spielberg? Maybe, but the difference is that Iman's films are not purely commercial. The man has a mission, and it's called Islewood.
You can get here a refugee, someone who's actually fled from Somalia, fled from Al-Shabaab, who's here a refugee. But they are trying actually they are doing business, like hawkers, shoes shine, small business. Nobody is telling their stories. People are busy telling a story of criminals, gangs like Al-Shabaab. So we are trying in one way to tell our culture, our positive side.
Iman founded Islewood in 2001, 14 years after he came to Kenya. For young Somalis, his creative platform is the only way out of ethnic isolation.
Before I reach my home, I get the messages from young people. Hey Iman, I would like to be actor, I would like to be model, I would like to be singer, I would like to be dancer. Iman, help me out. So immediately I just said, I will help you out. As long as you are talented, as long as you are passionate for this, I'll make sure I help you. I just try to mentor them, to motivate them.
And motivation is urgently needed in the Somali community. After the terror attacks by Al-Shabaab on Nairobi's Westgate Mall, Iman and his colleague Adan Osman have seen discrimination on every level.
After Westgate, the discrimination was pretty bad. People, they don't think of us as good people. They just condemned us, It hurts, when you are like in a matatu and people start looking at you like, like a suspect. We don't deserve that. Al-Shabaab, they don't stand for all Somalis.
Eastleigh, or Little Mogadishu, is dominated by Somali businesses. A quarter of Nairobi's tax revenue is generated here, making it vital for Kenya's capital. And yet Somalis are culturally isolated.
Silence on set, silence on set.
Iman's project offers ethnic groups a chance to interact.
Islewood is playing a big role, a very big role, because it has reduced crime in a way, because most of the guys who are perpetrating heinous activities in the communities, most of them have joined and also showcased their talent.
Islewood's films are shown in tiny cinema halls in the neighborhood. The challenge, however, is that Iman and his team not only face discrimination from Kenyans, they also struggle with accusations from their own community.
So many people actually are trying to disseminate a lot of propagandas, telling us, you guys, you are changing our youth, you are targeting beautiful girls, you are promoting Western, values. They want us to stop what we are doing. But I'm saying, today, if I die, there are so many like Iman who will take from it. And we hope Islewood will work generations like Hollywood.
Iman's project is funded by local businesses, and it turns out to be a very successful one.
It is important we tell our stories. I like the fact that despite the accusation and discrimination, Iman is trudging on and even getting funding for his films. From making films, we go to watching films. In Cameroon, Christian Kwesi is determined to give the visually impaired a feel of watching films.
A fitness trainer comes to his home every morning because Christian Kwesi needs to exercise a lot. A side effect of the medication is that I gain weight really quickly. Christian lost his eyesight at the age of 20. He now wants to do something for blind people in Cameroon. He shows films with audio descriptions. The district authority is hosting the event at the community hall. This is the fourth screening the 28-year-old and his friends have organized. Cultural centers show movies, but they are only for people who can see. Nobody thinks of us. If people like us with disabilities don't help ourselves, nobody will. His former schoolmate Patrick relaxes after helping to set things up. We're all moved by how strong he is, by how he keeps forging ahead. It gives us a push. The first guest to arrive is an old acquaintance. He's come all the way from a town in western Cameroon. But disenchantment soon sets in. The district authority failed to send out invitations. No one else has showed up. We're going to watch the movie anyway, even if it's only for Luke. He has traveled so far to get here. At least the film suits the situation. The Untouchables is a French comedy about a man who can't move his body from the neck down, but wants to enjoy life regardless. Christian was Cameroon's youngest high school graduate. He used to dream of a career in business. Now I'm fighting to be as independent as possible. The two friends are not giving up. Somewhat frustrated, they set off to promote additional screenings. Then they make a brief stop to charge up his cell phone. I can't move around the city on my own. The city doesn't provide for that at all. Christian and Patrick have an appointment with the province's social affairs delegate. They hope to get better support from her for their next screenings. We had never heard of films for blind people. Christian is bringing along a real innovation. The politician wants to support him. Christian Kwesi hopes this will prove to be one more step toward making the city a more livable place for people with disabilities.
Christian Kwesi's story is one of the selfless individual who is looking beyond his disability to help others like him. Now from film, we go to music. One man thinks that bongo flavor in Tanzania can change the world.
Baraka da Prince is well known in his neighborhood in Dar es Salaam. He's a bongo flavor singer and songwriter. Everyone here knows his music and likes to sing along with him. Today Baraka is 22 years old. From his earliest childhood he dreamed of becoming a famous singer, but his father strongly opposed his musical ambitions. I remember one day I was performing somewhere at a festival and someone tipped off my dad. I was beaten a lot that day. But that didn't deter him. He moved to Dar es Salaam, about 1,000 kilometers away from his hometown Mwanza, and recorded this song, Siachani Nawe, meaning, I won't let go of you. When we released the song, we never thought that it could be this popular. We recorded it and made a video and left it out there. Fortunately, many Tanzanians liked the song and it became a big hit. The music video reached the top 10 and was broadcast on TV in Tanzania and across East Africa. But one song couldn't earn him a living. That's why artists like Baraka are over the moon when they're discovered by Joseph Kusaga. For almost 3 decades, he's been promoting young, talented musicians.
There are a lot of talents out there, but the money issue, as you said, is a challenge for them. Actually, getting studio time right now, I think per record is about 400,000, 300 or 400,000, which is not small money. It's big money.
300,000 Tanzanian shillings is about 150 euros. Joseph Kusaga is the manager of a popular radio station. By giving artists free airtime on his radio station and on television, Kusaga has made bongo flavor East Africa's most popular style of music.
Before, it was very difficult for people to support bongo music because I remember most of the people thought that bongo music was, rap was for hooligans. But now people are taking music as very serious.
Bongo flavor has now conquered the hearts of the population in Tanzania. My biggest dream is to make Tanzania known internationally through music. And Baraka da Prince is determined to do everything in his power to make that dream come true.
From Tanzania, we head to Cameroon, where Ruben Binam is helping music artists in Cameroon to not only find expression, but to make profits and put their sound on the global stage.
Ruben Binam's backyard is a meeting point for Yaoundé's vibrant music scene. Musicians practice here every day. The band Camille Savin has even performed their Afro jazz on European stages. Ruben wants to pave the way for the musicians with rehearsals, performances, and his record label Alizé Équateur Records. I'm convinced that entrepreneurship can solve musicians' problems. For a long time, Cameroonian artists have been waiting for solutions to come from other people. The biggest problem for Cameroonian musicians is piracy. Shops selling copyrighted music are few and far between. Ruben distributes his CDs through a chain of gas stations across the country. Cameroon's first paid internet streaming service has also just been launched. Digitization is a solution if we can offer the people what they want and do it on a legal basis. The biggest commercial success to date, Ex Malaya. Every Cameroonian knows this boy band. Ruben and the three boys are exploring new venues for their next video clip. I find this place quite risky, but it's very beautiful. A film crew from Nigeria is producing the video.
This location is amazing, and we get to see the whole city. And there are not many points that we can fly the drone very effectively here.
Video clips for the selfie generation. Today, Africa's music industry actually makes more money from ringtones than music albums. Ruben and his colleagues don't need a lot of space for their work. The small room on the ground floor of his house is his sales headquarters, programming room, and studio. I'm lucky to be someone who can organize things. That's why I always manage to do my own music in between. And there's nearly always time for a small jam session with Ruben's studio. If all goes well, this song too will end up on his online music platform.
The African music industry is taking on the world. Still in music, we head to Guinea, where a woman is using music for activism, getting women to talk about forbidden topics like female genital mutilation and sex.
Sayon Bamba and her cohorts are planning what they call a culture raid. Their target, Fode Bakera, is a former Ghanaian culture minister and music manager. The women want to direct his attention to their activities at the Solio Academy. Sayon Bamba wasn't exactly invited this day, but she arrived anyway. I have nothing other than my voice and my songs. That's a choice I made. I did my studies, but I was never able to work in my field. My aim is to speak on behalf of women whose voices are never heard. That's what inspired Sayon Bamba to launch her initiative to promote young female artists. She has no workspace for them yet, so everything's improvised. Bamba wants to help these women develop their potential and empower them to discuss issues usually considered taboo, such as sexuality and female genital cutting. There are things that are important to us and the younger generation, things we need to address here in Conakry. Let's talk about them. The sensitivity of our bodies is not something that was created by someone, it's something we're born with. Anyone who wants to cut a girl has to know there's a vital part of her body that's being taken away from her. Sayon Bamba also acts as a coach for young women. Her role resembles that of a big sister. 2 weeks ago, one of the women in her academy had a baby, but her partner left her, and now she's a single mother. Men just aren't there. That's what's so terrible. We need men to be more responsible. Women want men to take more responsibility and use condoms without our having to tell them to. As soon as a baby is on the way, they disappear. Sayon Bamba has plenty of experience on that front. She has 3 children and is raising them alone. But she still developed a career in the music business. That was only possible with talent, a good education, and support from others. Another goal of her academy is to support and encourage participants beyond music. You're still young. You're going to make it. Don't make the same mistakes we did. My baby's not going to stop me. When she cries, I'll take her with me. I'm going to stay in the academy with the other women. I haven't lost heart. Do what you really want and don't give up. That's Sayon Bamba's philosophy.
Across the continent, people are using ways like music to talk about serious and political issues. Well, a young female rapper, MC Law in Uganda, is rapping the news. Yes, you heard me right. Rapping the news. Now take a look.
I do a lot of stuff girls don't do. I climb trees, I can somersault, I can dance this break dance.
Uganda's youngest female rapper is 14 and goes by the name of MC Loy. She's become a star in her own country, regularly rapping the news on Uganda's NTV. The weekly voice recording in a production company is followed by a TV studio session. This modern news format is designed to reach young people who don't normally watch the news.
Despite concern that the bill might hurt the economy and send back tobacco farmers back to poverty. Making them to get to know what's happening in the country, abroad and so on. That really helps them to know what's going on in the world, because if you live in the world and you know nothing about what's happening, then you may find yourself in a bad thing or a problem or so on.
That often happens to people in her generation. Half the population is under 15. Facebook and WhatsApp predominate here. Young people would rather listen to music than to the news. So what better way is there to reach them than to bring them the message across with music? Zoe Kabuye, that's her real name, buys newspapers as often as she can. So what is it that really bothers her?
That's part of child abuse, not taking a child at school. I wouldn't blame parents who don't have money to take children at school, but I would only blame the government, which doesn't build the infrastructure for the kids and so on, schools, yeah.
Her desire to remove fear and instill courage motivates her to teach kids at Sunday school.
Verse 8 to 37. You will hold a son in your arms. Well, she has no son and her husband is old.
Education for all, no more corruption. She has even put her demands to the president, rapping them, of course.
Yes, I'm proud to be a Ugandan living in the beautiful motherland, the Pearl of Africa that grows every day and night with mega malls, roads, hospitals, education system, and so much more. But we need some more. And I want to be the first male president of my country, Uganda, the Pearl of Africa. What? Yeah, that was it. Oh.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I made him know that I want to be. So he should just get prepared for MC Loy. We'll be in his seat someday.
According to the Constitution, she has to wait until she is 35 to run for presidency. That leaves her plenty of time.
And MC Loy wants to be president, so Uganda, get ready for a rapid president, y'all. The young men in our next story are using humor to shed light on their realities in Zimbabwe. They have over 6 million viewers.
This trio has become Zimbabwe's comedy sensation. With their political satire show Zambezi News, the comedians make a witty parody of state propaganda and burning issues in Zimbabwe. The team is constantly working on new material.
Well, right now, this particular sketch basically is about race relations. It's a big thing in Africa, but a lot in Zimbabwe as well, the interaction between black and white people. So this is basically a white man, a white reporter from Zambezi News, Jerome Weathers, who's proving that blacks and whites get along.
I've been your politically correct correspondent, Jerome. Rainbow is my color, Weathers.
Zambezi News is distributed on social media and DVDs. It has over 6 million viewers. While it's not broadcast on Zimbabwe state media, it has fans in other African countries because it sheds critical light on political realities. That's why state authorities perceive the show as an affront.
I think, I think that's always the joke in Zimbabwe, is that you've got freedom of expression, but you don't have freedom after expression. That's it's definitely the case with Zambezi News, is that it's very kind of outspoken political satire, and of course we deal with the powers that be.
Based in the capital, Harare, Zambezi News reports from a country in the grip of a repressive regime after almost 30 years. The three comedians use satire to prompt people to think about sensitive issues and disregard threats and intimidation. The guiding principle of Zambezi News is you can laugh away your fear, but you can't look away from it.
Welcome to what is this for again? The Shoko Festival. Okay. Firstly, I would like to thank everyone who worked on this great festival that is benefiting the nation. It is good for tourism, and seeing flocks of artistic immigrants swarming from the imperialist nations and leaving their local currencies in our nation. And make sure that you have all the necessary clearance and documents, or we will come there and shut you down.
We always laugh at situations, We're just trying to get people to laugh more, so that you don't cry so much and you don't complain so much. It's happening, yes, life is tough right now, but don't let it bury you. So this is why we're looking at life from a different angle, from a funny sort of angle.
The Zambezi News team is going into its 4th season. The cast is still confronted by state security agents who claim the comedians are pursuing an anti-government agenda. Considering Zimbabwe's outlook, there seems to be a need for the kind of comedy that Zambezi News provides.
Like we say in local parlance right here, if I no laugh, I go cry. Sometimes humor is a good outlet. Thank you for joining us in this episode of Africa on the Move in partnership with DW. See you next week. Bye.
Today we are back again in the slum of Ajegunle, where we bring you incredible stories. First of all, when we hear about the slum, we think of places where people live in abject poverty, dirty areas, and people in deplorable condition. And for the most part, that's what the situation is everywhere in the world, in Africa and even in Nigeria. But today we're bringing you a story of this place. Here in the school, Morris International, where school fees are being paid.
And more will still come to the school. These are the plastic bottles. We collect cartons too. Paper, cans, aluminium cans, carton, even pure water sachet. That's a bag of pure water sachet over there. So we exchange this for school fees because I want to see, I have the passion to see that these children learn well. We use British curriculum in the school. That is why it is called an international school. So we want these children in the slum that are less privileged, sort of, from low-income families, to enjoy education that the elites enjoy in the society too.
We are here today because we have a project we're running in partnership with the Morris International School, and that is the Recycle Space educational project. It's a project because it's something we want to do for the community, it's something we want to do for human lives. And the beauty about the Recycle project is the parents are involved, the environment is involved, the school is involved, the recycling firm is involved, and everyone has a way of trying to connect with the whole idea. And so for us, we kickstarted this project sometime last year because we came about a report that was, I think, released by the World Economic Forum that said in a few years time to come, in the ocean, you're going to find more plastics than fishes. And that means that we need to start thinking of what we can do with the plastics, something productive, so that we don't end up having more plastics in the ocean than the fishes. And also, we also came about a report that was conducted by UNICEF that said that Nigeria is currently #1 when it comes to the numbers of children that are out of school in the world. That figure is alarming.
Our school fees from play group to nursery 2 is 4,000 naira. Then our basic 1 to basic 6 is 5,000 naira. Family.
So what are your thoughts on what you people are doing? The fact that you're collecting plastic bottles and sachets for school fees?
Looking at our streets today, it's very dirty and you see plastic waste everywhere. Then we think of, okay, why not we ask the parents to be part of it? Picking plastic, we call the ACI to pick it up and wait, and talk about the kilo to pay their school fees.
Sometimes I go pick them, I will go sell, I will bring and come here, and my mom will use and manage because things was hard. Things they very, very critical. Nobody, no helper, my myself, now only me and my mom. So they knock hand to hand to take. Even the children, papa self has since come like say they bother them say una pikin una this thing. I say okay, at least they say single mother they take care of him pikin. Anyhow, one fit take even anything one fit do, man take care of my pikin at least before uncle come bring the pay. And true when he bring the pay bottle, it was okay. I was very, very happy because he relieved me for some kind of things, many things. Thinking of my pikin school fees, I wonder, my pikin books, I wonder. He relieved me many, many things because uncle self through the pay bottle self, he self assists me. Picking the pay bottles, I will advise a lot of people. I will tell them say he pay because if he not pay me, I no go do am, which I still dey do until now.
Children of Morris International School knows about recycling well. Imagine if everybody is picking these things around them. We'll have less waste around, and this program is a sustainable program. So imagine this in the drainage. It took us flooding. We've helped the earth, we've helped their environment. In fact, Mother Earth is happy with the school and what we are doing.
If I say today's edition is going to be cool, calm, and collected, I may be lying.
This one somehow doesn't inspire them because Shori may have his own agenda, Shori may this. I just feel, look, at the end of the day, we all know what we're suffering here.
Our youth will prefer to dance shaku shaku than to come out and vote on election day. It may be hot, sizzling, and provocative. Until we bear our body, that is, we wake up from our out of irresponsibility, nothing changes.
That's true, but there was also times that they were saying the icebergs were melting, but then the icebergs they formed again.
United Nations will give free drugs to this hospital, and these doctors and nurses will take these drugs out for sale.
It's deeply personal, tragic, and frightening.
The wickedness of the elders and the idleness of the youth, yes.
Many thanks for joining us on News on the Hour on Plus TV Africa. Here are the stories making the headlines, and I am Amaka Okoye. The Court of Appeal in Abuja has affirmed the August 23, 2019 judgment of the Election Tribunal, which voided the election of Dino Melaye of the People's Democratic Party as Senator for Kogi West Senatorial District. The court, in a judgment read earlier today, ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission to conduct fresh elections in some parts of the senatorial district within 90 days. The appeal court noted that there were discrepancies in the dates contained on the result sheets produced by INEC for the election held on February 23, 2019 in the senatorial district. The Justice A.O. Chijioke-led Kogi State and National Assembly and State Assembly Election Tribunal had, in its August 23, 2019 judgment, voided Milaye's election, upheld the petition by Smart Adeyemi of the All Progressive Congress, and ordered fresh election in some parts of the Kogi West Senatorial District. The Nigerian presidency has reacted to rumors of an alleged marriage between President Muhammadu Buhari and the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Sadiya Umar Farouk, set to take place on Friday. Special advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, in a statement, revealed that the report was a deceptive maneuver by those who fabricated the news. Adesina also said that the news was far from the truth and that no such marriage is taking place at the presidential villa on Friday. Now, the First Lady, Aisha Buhari, has called for urgent action to protect the girl child from abuses. Buhari, in a tweet on Friday to commemorate the International Day of the Girl Child in Abuja, stressed the need for parents to protect their children from all forms of violence and abuse. The theme of the 2019 celebration is Girl Force, Unscripted and Unstoppable. The day's celebration supports more opportunity for girls and increases awareness of gender inequality faced by girls worldwide based upon their gender. The celebration of the day also reflects the successful emergence of girls and young women as distinct cohort in development policy, programming, campaigning, and research. Now, religious misinterpretations, poverty, teenage pregnancy, and early marriage, amongst others, have factors hindering the girl child in Nigeria, despite accounting for 94.2 million out of the 200 million population of Nigeria. The female gender is sometimes relegated, treated as second-class citizens in the country. A female child is typically perceived to be a weaker being, designated to just reproduce, cook, and do other household chores compared to her male counterpart. In a bid to address this situation, the United Nations marks October 11th as the International Day of the Girl Child, which intends to promote girls' human rights, highlights gender inequalities, and other challenges militating against the female gender. Now, joining us in the studio is Blessme Ajani. She is an adolescent sexual and reproductive health expert. What an interesting name. Blessme, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And it's good to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Such a unique name you've got.
Yeah, that's what happens when someone is a girl.
Right.
Because them being a girl is unique in itself.
Good. So we'll start from that point. You know, when we talk about the International Day of the Girl Child, most times the temptation is to, begin from the point of, oh, they're relegated to the background, they are not treated fairly, and all of that. But let's start from the positive. Tell me, what are the blessings of even being a girl child?
Growing up, my daddy used to say that being a girl child is more money for him. Having girls, out of 4 children, we're about 3 girls. And having 3 girls is more blessings for him, is more money for him, in terms of the marriage bride price and all of that.
But he isn't intending that he's selling off his daughters.
Of course, when he says that jokingly, it just shows how much he appreciates his girl children. And then my daddy said something while I was growing up that I will never forget. He said, it's just that people don't understand the benefit of having girls as children. Why? Because they get to promote the family name even early and easier. And what did they mean by that? Meaning that as a girl child, before you know it, you are out there before the male counterpart, and then you are promoting the family name, and that's it. It's compared to the boy child, when a girl child is successful, she brings out the family name and all of that. So there are a lot of blessings attached to being a girl child. We could see a lot of females, women in every sector doing amazing work. Till date, we still talk about the legacy of Dora Quilly. And then that we say when females are empowered, they do things differently. Why? Because they have to work twice as much to prove their worth. So, and of course, there is this adage that also say when you train a girl child, you just train the nation. And if you look all over around us, you see females doing amazing things. You see females on the farm. Even when you go to the villages, you see females, you're a news presenter, you're a female. And of course, you're doing an amazing job like that. And because of the way females are wired, we tend to address issues from their